Good evening and welcome to Just the News. I'm Faye D'Souza. Let's get straight to it. The Government Core Working Group on Vaccines, which is a panel of doctors that advises the central government on the vaccine policy, has recommended that the gap between the first and the second dose of AstraZeneca's Covishield vaccine now be increased to 12 to 16 weeks. This is about 3 to 4 months. The central government has decided to accept this suggestion. Now, in March this year, the gap was increased from 28 days, which is 1 month, to 6 to 8 weeks for better results. Now, the central government has put out a statement saying, based on available real-life evidence, particularly from the United Kingdom, the COVID-19 working group has agreed to increase the dosing interval between the two doses to 12 to 16 weeks. No change in intervals has been recommended for Covaxin. Now, this group includes Dr. N.K. Arora, Dr. Rakesh Agarwal, Dr. Gagandeep Kang, Dr. Naveen Khanna, and other doctors right now. The Supreme Court has expressed concern about migrant workers and said that it will pass orders today to ensure food security and cheaper transport options for migrant workers. The court said it would pass orders in relation to community kitchens and dry rations for stranded migrant workers, specifically in the National Capital Region, and would also stop the charging of exorbitant rates for transport for these workers. The Solicitor General of India, who represents the Government of India, Tushar Mehta, who was opposing the court's intervention in the matter, said, "Let us fight the pandemic rather than fighting with fringe elements. Unlike the last lockdown where everything was closed, this year states have ensured that it is not a lockdown like last year. By and large, industries are working, and so migrant workers are not incentivized to go back from places where industries are open." Tushar Mehta also told the bench that instead of issuing directions, responses should be sought from state governments. The Supreme Court asked, how will migrants survive with no money and no work? Some sustenance must be provided for the time being. You have to consider the harsh realities, end quote. This comes after Advocate Prashant Bhushan, who was arguing for the petitioners, urged the bench to pass directions to extend the Atmanirbhar scheme of dry rations to migrants who don't have ration cards and give cooked meals in places where migrants are currently congregating. The Patna High Court has issued several directions today, while observing that government hospitals and medical officers on duty are duty-bound to give medical assistance to citizens, and failure to do so is a violation of the right to life guaranteed under Article 21 of our Constitution. Now, here are the key takeaways from this direction. State government is directed to take all necessary steps for the proper implementation of common reporting standards of deaths, and panchayats and local governments have been told all deaths must be reported within 24 hours in order to give a true picture so that steps can be taken to defeat the pandemic. Shift focus to rural areas so that they are not deprived of medical infrastructure. Ministry of Health of the Government of India should consider the request forwarded by the state seeking enhancement of oxygen cylinder quota, and it has to be done in the next 4 working days. An affidavit of the Commissioner of the District of Buxar with regard to the disposal of bodies found in the River Ganga should be filed in the next 2 working days, and municipal authorities are directed to take steps for proper collection, treatment and disposal of waste for people who are currently in home isolation. The states of Maharashtra and Karnataka have suspended their vaccination drive for people in the age group of 18 to 44. Maharashtra has suspended starting the 12th of May. Karnataka has suspended starting the 14th of May. The Maharashtra Health Minister has said the state would temporarily suspend its drive because of a shortage of COVID vaccines in the state. He said the state would use all of its available stock for the second dose of those above the age of 45. The Karnataka Health Department, in the meantime, in a statement, said the state government has decided that vaccines procured directly by the state will be utilized for beneficiaries who are due for their second dose. The Union Minister for Chemicals and Fertilizers of the Government of India, Mr. Sadananda Gowda, who in the meantime asked whether people in government should hang themselves for their failure to procure vaccines. Speaking to journalists in Karnataka, he said, and I quote, "The court has, with good intention, said everyone in the country should be vaccinated. I want to ask you, if the court says tomorrow that you need to give this much vaccine, and if it has not been produced yet, should we hang ourselves? He said. He went on to stress that the decisions made by the governments are not guided by any political gain. In Karnataka, the number of active cases have now reached the 6 lakh mark. It is the worst affected state in the country. Positivity rate remains at around 30%. It has reported 39,998 cases and 517 deaths on Wednesday. The World Health Organization has said the resurgence and the acceleration of COVID cases in India can be attributed to several factors, including the several religious and political mass gathering events which increased social mixing. The WHO said, and I quote, "A recent risk assessment of the situation in India conducted by the WHO found a resurgence and acceleration of COVID transmission, contributing to several factors, including the proportional increase of COVID variants and also several religious and political mass gathering events, increasing social mixing," end quote. The WHO also said the B1617 variant, which originated in India, has now been detected in 44 countries. Before we go any further, I must offer our viewers a very strong trigger warning for the information that's going to come up in the next story. Many of you who are experiencing anxiety and distress will find this story very disturbing. I recommend you don't watch any further. Following cases of bodies found floating in the Ganga and the Yamuna in Bihar and Uttar Pradesh over the last few days, reports have now emerged of bodies found buried in the sand in 2 locations by the Ganga River in Uttar Pradesh's Unnao district. According to NDTV, the district magistrate at Unnao, Ravindra Kumar, has said that some people don't burn bodies, they bury them in the sand by the river instead. He has now ordered an inquiry. When asked if these bodies were of COVID patients, the official said that the information so far does not indicate this. According to a report in the India Today, 2 bodies were found floating in the river in Varanasi. 2 others were found across the bank, lying on the sand. Across the Ghats of Varanasi, 2 bodies were spotted in the sandbanks of the river. Till Wednesday, 7 more corpses were found floating in the Ganga in Balia, and the counter bodies in the district has now reached 52. The district administration has been performing last rites of the deceased, as there is a possibility they might be COVID patients. According to the Balia residents, at least 45 bodies were found floating near the Ghats on Tuesday. In a letter to the district Ganga committees, the National Mission for the Clean Ganga, which is an apex body that monitors the rejuvenation of the river and its tributaries, has asked authorities to dispose of the unidentified bodies of suspected COVID-19 victims in accordance with safety protocols. Delhi's Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia has said Delhi's positivity rate has fallen to 14%. There's been a reduction in the number of patients being admitted to hospitals as well. Due to this, Delhi's oxygen demand has dropped from 700 metric tons now to 582 metric tons. He has said the extra quota of oxygen can now be diverted to other states. Meanwhile, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has asked, where is India? As several states have now floated global tenders to procure vaccines. Arvind Kejriwal has tweeted, Indian states are now left to compete with each other in the international market. UP is fighting Maharashtra, Maharashtra is fighting Orissa, Orissa is fighting Delhi. Where is India? This portrays a bad image of India as one country. We should procure vaccines on behalf of all Indian states. The number of cases obviously are rising at this point. Several states have faced shortages of vaccines. So Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Haryana and Delhi have all decided to issue global tenders to import vaccines on their own. 12 major opposition parties, including 4 chief ministers, have written a joint letter to the Prime Minister asking the centre to procure vaccines centrally from global and domestic sources and then begin a free universal mass vaccination campaign across the country. The signatories on this letter include Sonia Gandhi, the Congress President, West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin, Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren and former Prime Minister H.D. Deve Gowda. Arguing that the pandemic has assumed unprecedented dimensions of a human catastrophe, the opposition leaders have said, we have repeatedly in the past drawn your attention independently and jointly to various measures that are absolutely imperative for the central government to undertake. Unfortunately, your government has either ignored or refused all these suggestions. This only compounded the situation to reach the apocalyptic human tragedy it is now. End quote. Telangana's Finance Minister Harish Rao has said there is a discrepancy in the numbers of positive cases in the state of Telangana because, and I quote, there is a mad rush of COVID positive patients from neighbouring states of Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka and Maharashtra who've tested positive in their states but are coming to Hyderabad for treatment, he said. With Telangana as a state becoming a medical hub, people from neighbouring states are rushing to Hyderabad and their numbers are far more than the patients within the state. Hence, there is a discrepancy in the COVID-19 positive cases, he said. This was a quote released by Harish Rao. The state also requested the union government to make allocations of oxygen and remdesivir based on the number of beds available in the state rather than on the population. Some COVID restriction announcements that have come in. Maharashtra has extended its COVID restrictions until the 1st of June. New restrictions also include a mandatory negative RT-PCR report for anyone entering the state, which needs to be issued a maximum of 48 hours before entry. Restrictions also include curbs on those arriving from what Maharashtra calls sensitive origins. Last month, Maharashtra declared Kerala, Goa, Gujarat, Delhi, Rajasthan and Uttarakhand places of sensitive origin. Bihar has extended its lockdown until the 25th of May. On Wednesday, the state of Bihar registered 9,863 fresh cases after witnessing daily jumps in its tally by 5-digit figure for more than a fortnight. In other news, the UPSC has postponed the Civil Services Preliminary Examination, which was scheduled to be held on the 27th of June. It is now notified that that examination will be held on the 10th of October. The Supreme Court has launched a facility in its mobile app for providing links to virtual hearings for media persons. Apart from launching the mobile facility, the Chief Justice of India said that the Supreme Court will also introduce a feature called Indicative Notes on its website and mobile app that will summarize landmark judgments. In his speech, the Chief Justice said transparency is a time-honored principle when it comes to judicial process in this country. Hearing of cases has always taken place in public courtrooms, access being allowed not only to lawyers but also to general public. This access to public is important because rulings of the court of law have a bearing on the lives of people in the country. The role of media assumes importance in the process of disseminating that information. Looking now at news coming in from across the world. In a bid to curb the spread of COVID and new variants, the European Union has now urged the countries of its bloc to temporarily halt non-essential travel from India. The EU has said it's important to limit to a strict minimum the categories of travellers that can travel from India for essential reasons and to subject those who may still travel from India to strict testing and quarantine arrangements. According to Reuters, Gaza's health ministry has confirmed at least 83 Palestinians, including 17 children and 7 women, have been killed and more than 480 people have been wounded in violence between Israel and Hamas. Renewed airstrikes on Gaza, Israeli warplanes struck a 6-story residential building that it said belonged to Hamas, the group that controls the Palestinian enclave of Gaza. Netanyahu has said Israel struck close to 1,000 militant targets in Gaza in total. Hamas has fired rockets into Israel's commercial heartland, injuring 5 people as Israel kept up the punishing bombing campaign in Gaza and has also amassed tanks and troops at the enclave's border. 4 days of the cross-border violence has showed no signs of ending. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said the campaign will take more time. Violence has also spread now to mixed communities of Jews and Arabs in Israel, which is turning into a new front for the conflict. Worried that the region's worst hostilities in years could spiral out of control, the United States is now sending in an envoy. Truce efforts by Egypt, Qatar and the United Nations have so far showed no signs of any progress. Meanwhile, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken called Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to reconfirm America's support to Israel's right to defend itself from Hamas rocket attacks from Gaza. The State Department of the United States has said that they have stressed on the need to de-escalate the violence and that Biden's administration believes that both Israel and Palestinians have the right to live in safety and security. Looking now at news coming in from the world of sports. Following the annual update of the ICC Test Team ranking, India has retained the number one spot for an aggregate of 121, having accumulated 2,914 points from 24 matches. This means India and New Zealand will square off in the inaugural World Test Championship final to be held on the 18th of June in England. And one piece of positive news before we leave you for the day. A group of cyclists in Chennai known as Relief Riders are developing a community to help people buy groceries and other essentials. According to the New Indian Express, the founders have said they've started this to help those affected by the pandemic and also to promote cycling in the city. This is being done on a voluntary basis. We don't charge anything except the money that's needed to pay for the groceries, they said. That's a wrap on the news today. Thank you so much for watching. Leave us a suggestion and a word of encouragement. It helps us continue this service also. If there's anything that we can do to help your understanding of any of these stories, if there's an explanation or more details that you need of any of these stories, leave us a note in the comment section and we'll work on offering you expert opinions and detailed explanations. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.